Hey my friends, and welcome to today's video. And I bring positive news today. As some of y'all might know, I decided to periodize my training this year in 2024. And after 12 weeks of base training, my cycling fitness has improved. Before we jump into the details, allow me to do a quick recap. I took a break at the end of 2023. I was tired of cycling and I needed a break. So I went on a holiday and just stopped cycling for 2 weeks. That was a fresh experience for me because I only started cycling 2.5 years ago. And as a beginner, I held on to every watch like Smiggle and his ring. I knew that was unhealthy, so I ended that obsession and started the year fresh. I started training again in January, focusing on 8 weeks of strength work. I wasn't cycling much, started with 6 hours and slowly ramped it up to around 10 hours at the end of the phase. I took a RAM test and it gave me an FTP of 307 watts. However, sometime during the base phase, I realized that the number was probably slightly inflated after installing the Axiomas on the trainer bike. In reality, it was probably nearer to 290 watts. Okay, so that was the recap. I'm gonna jump right into it. And after 12 weeks of base training, I took another RAM test and it returned me with an estimated FTP of 323 watts. This RAM test was done using the watt bike at Virtual Cycling SG. It was also dual recorded with my Axiomas. The numbers were almost a perfect match, so now I have 3 power sources that are aligned: the watt bike, Axioma, and the Magin Spider power meter. If you ask me, 323 watts is actually a fairly decent number. It was the highest I've ever gotten from a RAM test. Intervals.icu, the performance tracker that I use on the other hand, estimated it to be around 317 watts from that session. Personally, I plan my sessions with 310 watts. I'm the least optimistic of the 3 because I'm the one doing the workouts. I'm the one getting hurt. And nonetheless, my first experience with base training has surprised me quite a fair bit. After 8 weeks of strength training, I started the first week of the base phase with 13 hours of riding mostly in my zone 2. The idea was to gradually ramp the hours up to 17 hours at the end of the base phase. I started with 13 hours because I was already doing 10 to 12 hours last year. So in a way, I'm breaking out of my comfort zone, which is an important concept to get stronger. More importantly, most resources that I've come across advocated for at least 12 hours of riding per week for base training to be effective. There are probably better programs out there for time-crunched cyclists, and doing base training at 6 hours a week just isn't enough to properly stress the body. There are also a few important things that I've done during these 12 weeks of base training. Firstly, strength training sessions were dropped from 3 to 2 per week. Also, I did not exclusively ride in Zone 2. I referenced heavily on Dylan's work, and following the direction from his video, I started to include tempo and sweet spot work from week 5 onwards. It was time to bring up the intensity a little. What I like to do is to do the mountain route on Zwift twice. This route includes a ride up the Epic Comp and I will do the climb in my Zone 3. Lastly, and what I felt was the most important, I also did not fully exclude intense workouts during this period. Again, there are many resources out there that have been pointing and emphasizing the importance of maintaining some form of intensity during the base phase. So for me, I do a bit of Zone 5 work during the weekends. Not stressful enough to be a proper VO2 max session, but it gives my body the right amount of kick to maintain a bit of that top end power. You lose it when you don't use it. That's just how the body works. And yeah, so that's all I did during the base phase. It's been quite an interesting experience, and that's what this channel is for. I enjoy training, racing, going to different places with my bike, and I want to share some of these findings and experience with all of you. These 3 months of base training weren't exactly easy or enjoyable, to be honest. I know it says easy riding, base riding, but staying at an endurance pace for hours is actually pretty stressful in its own way. Apart from the 9 days in Japan, I did most of my rides on the trainer. So minimal coasting, no hiding in drafts, no traffic lights or descents to bail me out. But yeah, it's over. I still find 17 hours a week a little harsh as a working adult. However, interestingly, I'm now very comfortable with 14 to 15 hours a week. And before I get flagged for being a Zwift hermit, I actually enjoy riding indoors. I'm not forcing it. I also enjoy riding outdoors. Shoulder seasons are just great for road cycling and exploration. I really enjoy that. But cycling in Singapore, I've just had too many close shaves. It's a very small country with a lot of cars and unsympathetic drivers. I'd rather take my chances with black bears in the Japanese forest than cycle in the city. Anyway, I will continue with my training. There are a few interesting races with Virtual Cycling SG coming up. and I see it as a way to slowly build form before the Zwift Racing League. I'm not sure if I still got a team, but that's a problem for later. And yeah, that's all I've got today. I'll see you all soon, hopefully with good news on my progress, fingers crossed. And till then, ride safe and I'll catch you all soon.